Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Charade Maniacs, continuing Chigasaki's route. We're getting to the end. Is this the end? I don't know. We'll see what happens. But anyway, we were just talking to Chigasaki in the field, and he wants to go meet his dad, and the director was like, nah, bitch, not happening. So, when I opened my eyes, I was in a familiar location. A dark place with lots of bright screens. They showed everyone there. Oh, this is... Welcome, Mamoru Chigasaki, the traitor, and the one who knowingly collaborated with him. Should I call you the second traitor then, Sena? Second? Really? Okay. But, bitch, I got thoughts. Like, I was thinking about this last night. It was just going through my head, and I'm like, okay. All of a sudden, I was like, wait a minute. Chigasaki, okay, I don't know. Listen, I don't remember what they said. Someone will tell me. When they talked about who could take things out of the library. I'm assuming now it's only the producer maybe, because Chigasaki had to have someone else take that DVD or the disc or whatever out for him. He couldn't do it. So, sponsors can't do it. He's an Arcadian, he can't do it. So, right? Someone did it for him. Does the same person have the access to delete information, right? Because remember in Ibana's route, hey, here's the thing of all the people who lost body parts and shit like that in punishment games, and we go to Shoichi and we're like, oh wait, the page is gone. The only person who would have benefited from that is Dazai. Dazai and Chigasaki were having a conversation. What are you going to do about her? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. It made it sound like, oh, Dazai's the one sneaking. So then, are you trying to tell me that if only the producer can do it, then Dazai's the producer? Then what the fuck is going on with Gyobu and Haiji? But even if it's somebody else that's involved, maybe it's not sponsors, but other people involved, but then you're telling me Dazai's involved. And then I'm back to 5 out of our fucking 9 characters are involved? I don't know how I feel about that. Like... I mean, I'm starting to wonder, and I'm like, okay, listen, I'm enjoying the routes as we go. I did not enjoy certain orders of things, and I feel like Futami suffered from that, and I don't know if it was Futami's route on its own just didn't make sense to me, or where I did it, and it was just, whatever. I don't know, whatever, okay? But aside from that, we've enjoyed the routes and everything, and there's all these cool little twists and turns, and they've done a great job where you're like, I didn't suspect Chigasaki was a fucking Arcadian until like 2 minutes before you told me, right when you wanted me to make this, like, to suspect him. You know what I mean? When you're like, whoa, wait. And then they're like, yeah, actually, So it's not like I went in and went, oh, Chigasaki's a fucking Arcadian. I came to that conclusion when you wanted me to come to that conclusion. You know what I mean? Where it was like, fairly obvious. Okay. So you did a pretty good job with the twists and turns and things like that. And then, again, Chigasaki being a sponsor, I can kind of understand his thought process there. You don't feel at home on Earth. You don't feel at home here. You were trying to keep yourself safe. This is the only place that kind of felt comfortable. And even if you're not a terrible person like Futami over there, like, yes, burn, puppets. You're like, I did this because it was the only place I felt comfortable. And, like, even though I don't really love what's going on, you did it for selfish reasons, but you can kind of understand his reasonings. And you're like, okay, I get it. Fine. And I like the fact that between the 2 sponsors, he's actually nice and doing this for reasons where it's like, just trying to protect myself, which might be selfish, but like, I don't want people to get hurt. And like, I realize maybe this is bad, but okay. And then you have Futami who's like, ha ha ha, stab me, right? But if they're in the not locked routes, then you get to the locked routes, and then what? Dazai's involved, Kyobo's involved. Like, I don't know. I'm just like, did you just sit down and you're like, Tom, I need you to create, okay, here's the plot of the game, right? So Tom, you take Ibana and you come up with a backstory for him. Sue, you go over with Chigasaki, and then all of a sudden they came back and they were like, wait, you made Futami the sponsor? I made Chigasaki the sponsor. And then there's like 20 sponsors, and we're like, just fuck it. We'll just do it anyway. Because that's how I feel. Like, it's not making me go, I don't like this game anymore or disappointing me, but I feel slightly disappointed thinking, so what, the other three are all involved too? And like that thought, like most of the characters are involved. I mean, I don't know how I feel about it. Right now I feel slightly disappointed, but I realize it's probably not logical because they can't all be basic bitches like Tomose where you're like, I'm just here for no reason. You know what I mean? Like they all kind of have to tie into each other and like, and we already had it makes sense that we have two characters who are working for the information bureau because usually when you're in law enforcement things like that you got a partner, so okay, it makes sense. Two people on the inside in case one's discovered. You got to say, okay, cool, I can get behind that. Two sponsors, I mean, okay, but then you also have the producer, so then there's three people and you're like, okay, fine, but then now you're thinking, what else could Gyobu possibly be hiding? What is Dazai that there could be possibly now 4 to 5 people, and you're like, okay, now you're getting excessive. And like, plus technically everyone except for Tomose is somehow fucking involved with this. Because every character is either, we work for the Information Bureau and we are here to investigate, so we kind of known that this is in existence and happening and we're, involved in that aspect. So not really like involved in the other word stream, but trying to take it down. So you've got ties to it. You've got an investment in here, okay? Or you've got the people who are working for the Otherworld stream, and then you got the people who were here before, so they're hiding it because they came back for whatever reason. So it's like, that's like everybody except for me and Tomose. And I mean, I get it. It makes it a little more interesting because you're like, oh, okay. But they seem, and I can't be mad about them recycling kind of plot lines with two people were here before, two people are sponsors, two people are investigating, and then, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, you can't have everybody be involved. I don't know. I suppose I like that aspect where it's like, we told you the producer was here, and then you found out the sponsor was here, and now you found out there's two sponsors, and maybe Gyobu's the director, and also there's Arcadians mixed into the plot, where it just gets crazier as you go, and you're like, I kind of like that. But there's a part of me that just, I think right now, thinking if Gyobu, Haiji, and Dazai are all involved somehow, it's like, well, that's slightly disappointing because everybody's involved, and like, really? We had to go to that extreme? You couldn't have come up with, like, it makes me wonder, like, you couldn't have come up with better plot lines? You were just like, everyone's involved! But I'm expressing that now because I can't help feeling that way, but I realize that I'm like, I need to kind of not be pre-disappointed because, to be fair, aside from Futami's route, okay, that's a whole separate freaking problem for me, like, how but like, yeah, Tomose's the basic bitch. Ibana's was pretty much standalone to himself. He didn't really, like, tie it. Iochi and Akase kind of tie into each other. You've got, like, now the directors and producers and everybody tying it. Like, I kind of like that everybody's got these weird-ass motherfucking dramatic backstories with all these fucking twists, because it's way more interesting. So, while I'm slightly disappointed thinking our other three characters are all involved too, what the fuck, it's also one of those, when you go down it and then they've got all their twists, you're like, I know it's going to be as entertaining as this, where you're like, well, fuck, okay. So I know that the feeling as I'm playing the routes isn't going to be, yeah, this is stupid and I hate it. Like when I was doing Futami's route. It's stupid and I hate it. But again, I really just think that was a matter of playing that too soon. I wasn't ready for it, and it just kind of felt out of place to me. I don't know if that's just, again, if we had done Futami's route later, it would have been like, I would have been more receptive to it. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it was that or Futami's route just had weak writing. Because, like, in theory, I think it was just where I did it. I feel like that's it. You know what I mean? Because, like, those of you who have played this, could say, I did Futami's route later, and actually, yeah, it resonated a little bit better based on how I'm reacting to the rest of them. Like, oh my god, these are good. There's so much going on, right? And then it was like, oh, yeah, Futami, whatever. It could also be the nostalgia glasses are cracked with that. You know what I mean? So I think it's just that. So I can't really judge him and his route. I like the idea that, Futami just seems pretty fucking basic and bare. and then he's actually a psycho. I like that. That's a good concept, because I didn't see that coming. You're like, oh, okay, you're crazy. Shit. But where it all happened was just like, what the fuck? So I think that was me. I think that's just where I played that route. Didn't work for me with being able to process it and like take it for itself, whatever. But every other one of these has been like, Jesus fucking Christ, this is cool. There's shit happening. So if we go down and it's like Dazai's the one that took all this, and now I'm not saying, or somebody else could have done it to make you sus a Dazai, right? Because that's also kind of cool. But if it's Dazai, then it's like, if the producer's the only one, then he's, and what the fuck are the other two? You know what I mean? I feel it's just that. It's like, I feel like the producer really should have been the last one, because by that point you're like, okay, you know. But then again, is having the producer come out sooner better? Because, like, think of this. When Futami popped up and was like, oh yeah, I'm the sponsor. Like, the fuck? That should have been one of the later routes. What the shit? You know? Or this, then there is a second. Because I was like, if there's a second one, I still had Gyobu Peg. So, like, now I'm like, maybe you're the director. I don't know. Like, listen. I have to appreciate that my deductive reasoning is, like, just non-existent in this game the way we've gone. Some games you're like, yeah, it's kind of obvious we were getting to this point. But this one you're like, this shit keeps taking twists that I didn't see fucking coming. Like, apparently I'm playing this game, like, with my eyes closed. Which I like. You know, it's kind of fun. Because you throw out crazy theories and then shit happens and you're like, well, what the fuck? Was not expecting that. To be fair, I was expecting the Arcadian thing, just not from Chigasaki, so. Also, I'm still not sure how your mom and don't want to know. Anyway. So, anyway, I'm just the second trader. And on that, there might be like 5 here. So, second? But I like how you're trying to cover your ass instead of being like, what are you, the 12th trader? There's only 10 of us here. What the fuck? No, she hasn't betrayed anyone. She always did this for the sake of others. Chigasaki started to sound hostile as he looked around. Something was definitely wrong. It looked like he was talking, but it seemed like there was static noise in the projected image, so I couldn't hear his voice. Interesting. Okay, you got Gyobu standing there, because I'm pretty sure that's Gyobu. And then Iochi. That's Dazai, Ibana, and I think that's Akase. It's really sad that I can recognize. I mean, Iochi's not hard to recognize. Neither is Ibana because of that jacket. But, like, the rest of them, it's like, we don't really see their torsos or their clothes that much, and yet, here you go. It was the same for everyone. Everyone except Chigasaki and me. I don't understand that. Okay, wait. Started to sound hostile as he looked around. It looked like he was talking, but there was static noise. I couldn't hear his voice. It was the same for everyone except Chigasaki and me. But, what? Okay, what? I can't. Honestly, again, I'm still, like, I think I'm just... Every part of me is just not working right now. So, like, I think I just can't comprehend shit. Oh. Oh my! It seems like we're losing your images. You were in Sector 2, so it seems that you were not affected. But you leave me no choice. And then everyone vanished. I wondered what was happening. I panicked and looked at Chigasaki, but he was just as confused as I was. Again, I get that, but it was Chigasaki that was talking. Second trader, no she hasn't, she always did this. Chigasaki started to sound hostile. Something was wrong. It looked like he was talking. I assumed he meant Chigasaki. There's static noise in the projected image, so I couldn't hear his voice. It was the same for everyone except Chigasaki and me. That does not make sense, right? So, like, okay, because then the director's like, you're in Sector 2, you're not affected by whatever. Huh. We're losing your images. You were in Sector 2, so you're not affected. I have no idea what's going on. Is it just me? I don't know. What's the meaning of this? You should know better than anyone. Interference from the Information Bureau has caused much of the cast data to become inaccessible. You just deleted everyone? I managed to block them with regards to Sector 2, though. That's why you two are the only ones left. So the Information Bureau made their move much faster than I thought. But because the Information Bureau came in, it's basically like, oh, if you use the wrong password on this computer, it blows up. Like, so you just corrupted Information Bureau trying to get in, just corrupted all the data of everyone that was here, and they're all just lost into the ether like everyone else. We can get it back, we know. We've been in Iochi's route. Yes, it seems that way. They were much quicker than we'd expected. It appears to be their strategy to one-up us. Yeah, but I mean, like, somebody's on the inside, so. Unfortunate. Very unfortunate. With the communications cut like this, we cannot continue the stream. Besides, you are the sponsor, and I didn't expect you to betray us like this. Well, he is a traitor. Just didn't know who he was going to betray. So, we do give much freedom to the cast members. Seeking out a way back to the world and exposing the secrets of the Otherworld stream are not forbidden. However, that's not the case for sponsors. You swore to cooperate with the Otherworld stream, and you've received benefits for that purpose. All the more for you as an Arcadian yourself. Rules must be followed. Isn't that right, Shigasaki? Yes, I understand what you mean. But it's not right for you to threaten and blackmail him. Well, yeah, but that doesn't stop threatening and blackmailing. Chigasaki didn't have a choice from the start. He couldn't do anything besides become a sponsor. But I wouldn't say that was his only option. However, he probably would not have survived without our assistance. He wouldn't even have been born. And that's why we assumed he'd be subservient. Okay, that's disturbing. He probably wouldn't have survived without our assistance. He wouldn't have even been born. Are you just giving credit because, like, hey, we brought his mom here and she fell in love with an Arcadian, so without us, without you kidnapping his mom, he wouldn't have been... Yeah, but, like, that's not something you hold over someone's head. You kidnapped his mom. However, he chose to betray us. We do highly evaluate that decision. Evaluate? We applaud your courage. Now show that courage as a form of entertainment and humor us. The director called it entertainment and we froze in place. Even after everything that had happened, he intended to continue the Otherworld stream. This is the entertainment we desire. The Otherworld stream won't simply end with a boring shutdown. Let us make our final drama. A special drama wagering your return. Now, act out your desperation and hold on to dear life. Wait, but that's... Chigasaki's call fell on deaf ears as the scenery around us melted in an instant. I definitely feel like this is like the end. It's too bad that this is the only stage that's left. There's a negative effect on the projected image, but I suppose it's fine for the drama to go on. We cannot stream to the other side, but this should be more than enough. This is the Otherworld stream's purpose. Let us see your heroism as a half-breed, so that you may show it to all Arcadians. Chigasaki and I returned to the meadow, and after a moment we were relieved and despaired. There was a knife in Chigasaki's hand. They'd likely given it to him when teleporting us. This Otherworld stream's always like this. They hurt us and enjoy our despair. This time around, I'd say that it was completely expected. I hate hurting others, and you do this to me. However, that's where you're mistaken. I'll do anything so that we may return, even if it means hurting her. I mean, I feel like we should have agreed on this first, but, like, I feel like the test is, if you hurt me, you'd have to hurt yourself. You know what I mean? But, like, maybe ask my opinion first, but she, you know damn well she'd be like, it's okay, stab me, it'll be fine. If I hesitate and can't achieve my goal, that's the worst possible outcome for us. Chigasaki looked worried. When he glanced at me, I nodded with vigor. Thank goodness Chigasaki's thinking this way. I mean, I told you she would agree, but it's like, whoa! I mean, I agree with you, but maybe, like, take my thoughts into consideration for a hot second. I'm fine with Chigasaki stabbing me. I can just see it as any other previous drama. Moreover, if we can return together, I'll do anything for that. Not at all. You're the one that's mistaken. Huh? Did you really think you wouldn't be punished? Your return will not be allowed. You're half Arcadian to begin with. Only she may return. You'll have to exhibit your last bit of courage so that she may go back. I looked up at the sky in shock. I tried to look for the source of that voice, but of course the director was nowhere to be found. She may return. Betraying us means the same thing as betraying all of Arcadia. Are you prepared to cast everything away? You're negating the world that gave birth to you. What reason is there to continue living? They're basically telling him, oh, dude, God, no. If you want to discard everything and save her, now would be the time to express it. Show your courage. All of the cast has been saved and the Otherworld stream is shutting down. Unfortunately, you couldn't see your father. However, this is the future you desired. This is the wonderful finale your courage created. Now you'll pay with your life to send her back to her world. But if the Information Bureau got in and got everyone else deleted, I guess it's because we were in Sector 2. That's what he was saying. So they can't get us. Anyway. Use a knife to gut yourself and offer your heart to her. Ow, please don't. This is disturbing as fuck. Please don't go that far. Oh my god. That's the very last drama you're tasked with. Telling me to die here? Correct. You'd previously refused the dramas and had given up on living in the first place. However, you managed to gather your courage with her encouragement. In other words, you only survived thanks to her. Yes, you're right about that. And then you should offer your life for hers. You get to give your life to someone who saved you. Isn't that a wonderful conclusion? No one answered the question. Chigasaki and I both remained silent as we continued to listen. Why would they come up with something so cruel? There's probably no point in asking him anything. The wind had stopped as we stood in the meadow. I looked at the ground once, but I heard him grip the knife in front of me and I quickly looked up. No, Chigasaki! You promised we'd return together! The priority is for you to return. That's the original promise we made. And I don't care about the promise. I want to be with you. So, why? There's no greater joy than life. You finally said that. Sina. I reached to take the knife away, but he refused to let go. Then what'll happen if you refuse to act in this drama? Let's see. What shall we do indeed? Having both of you get your dead end would be rather boring. I know. We'll both be Arcadians. Your mind and body will be the same as them, and you'll live in Arcadia for all of eternity. Which, again, I think that goes back to, wasn't there in one of the other routes, it was like, the people that reach their dead ends become Arcadians, or some of them did, or whatever, so, like, Arcadians might actually have been people at one point. And if we take the same theory of, like, okay, they keep showing the 2 moons, and, like, maybe, there's no place big enough here for us to be, like, on Earth for this to be happening. So it could be, because everything looks like rundown, and it could be the old moon base thing that they had, and then the second moon thing, whatever, you know what I mean? Because I feel like they explained that, and then all of a sudden we're here with 2 moons, and that seems like a lot of explanation and bringing that up for nothing so far. So I feel like that's going to tie into it later. So if there were people, researchers, scientists, families, whatever, living on that little moon base, whatever it was, because I thought there was like, the second moon was like a whatever, and then there was also something on the actual moon. Was it in both places or just the one? I don't remember. Whatever. The little moon base, whatever. Even if that is the second moon and a place on the moon, or just that second moon. That's where I'm just going to use that as a blanket term when I say moon base. Whichever one or both it was. Got destroyed or whatever, so that could still exist. Especially if it was on the original. Whatever, anyway. Like, and the Arcadians could have been the people that were living there that quote-unquote died, but they didn't actually die. Now there's just this digital data, whatever, and we're the whole point of the stream is trying to teach them how to be human again, to be what they used to be, which could also explain why somehow weird digital data here and Chigasaki's mom got pregnant. Listen, that's a whole other can of worms. But I would assume this, well, you can't even have that answer come up in any of the later routes because we could have unlocked and played one of them before Chigasaki, and so you can't. So I don't know how that's going to be explained, if ever. But so technically, I mean, that's still kind of operating like that sounds terrifying, but Arcadians could have been people once, and it's just like, because I feel like, I don't know if that was just a theory I threw out a while ago, like maybe Arcadians are people, used to be people, or they said it in a route where it's like, yeah, after you turn into then they using that and they come back as Arcadian. Like, I thought somebody said that in a route, so I mean, whatever, I guess. It could be like universe goo. Sounds interesting. Anyway. This is a form of a happy ending. I don't mind either way. To be fair, that would actually, if we stayed here as Arcadians, it'd be totally different than, because I mean, some of them we go back, some of them we stay here. Now we're going to stay here as an Arcadian. That's kind of interesting. That's different. I mean, there's really only two outcomes. We stay here, we go home. You know, I mean, because we can't die because we have to have a happy ending. There's only one ending for each route. So, like, it was only going to be one of the two, but if we stay here with the added twist of we're an Arcadian, hey, they went different with that. And I'd prefer that. If I can live together with Chigasaki, I don't care what world or form I'm in. I can't go back alone. I don't want to sacrifice Chigasaki. Continue living like that. Even I'm afraid. I don't want that. The more I spoke, the more my hand shook in fear. To survive by sacrificing another wasn't what I wanted. And if that someone were Chigasaki, I would have never been able to forgive myself. We can offer Futami! I'd become afraid of living. One day I'd start to think that. But it was Chigasaki's right hand that gently cupped my shaking hand. I know. The gentle smile appeared to be just as it always had been. He was kind and considerate of others. It was the kind Chigasaki who would throw himself in harm's way to help everyone around him. But I was wrong. I'll live together with you. I've become a coward that's afraid of dying. That's why I won't give up. I will not choose death on my own. I will not do your bidding. I should have prepared myself from the moment I betrayed you. I was simply being naive for wanting to meet my father. But I don't need an answer. I can live even without it. He gently shook his hand away and held the knife in a backhanded grip. I don't want Arcadia. My ideals don't exist here. I don't want treasures. If that means I have to die bound by them. Throw everything away. And together with this world. Right when I was about to cry out for him to wait, the knife tore through flesh. Is he cutting off his arm? Because he said, I don't want treasures. He's stabbing himself in his Arcadian arm. Yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen. It was stuck on his body. The edges didn't cut into his heart, but his arm. It was swung directly down at the arm that Chigasaki cherished so much. Unmoved by my cries, he placed more force into the blade. God damn, what kind of knife is... Well, okay, to be fair, there's no bone in that. It's just goo, so I guess it'd be easier to chop off than an arm with a bone in it. I don't want this anymore. I will decide how I live. I mean, okay. So, like, this crazed moment, it's a CG, but I forgot to tell you. Good God, I'm sorry. This crazed look on his face, it's beautiful. I was like, hey, it fits this scenario. It's like, I'm just crazy. It's like, I am gonna cut this fucking arm off. Like, you pushed him to a place, you know? Blood started to drip down. That arm that he cherished so much. He called that arm his only link to his parents. And he was cutting it up with that blade, as if he were severing every last bit of connection that he had. Oh, no. It looked so painful that I couldn't bear to see it, but I bit my lip and stayed strong, knowing that it was Chigasaki's wish. I will not follow the way Arcadia does things. I no longer need this arm or Arcadia. The blade cut through his clothes and arm, and blood splattered everywhere. There's blood. See that? Arcadians are like goo, but there's blood. Okay, and that could just be like, well, no, it's the human side, but okay, you're cutting through your goo arm. But that brings up the question of, and I know I shouldn't try to logic this, right? Because deal with it, future science. But the Arcadians are like gooey mud monsters. So then if you cut them, they bleed? Because you could say, oh, where he's cutting at the shoulder, it's because the human body part of him's bleeding. But then it's like, but there are blood vessels that go up to and like stop at the joint where human body meets Arcadian arm? Like, right? Like, am I crazy being like, wait, what? But like, whatever. Maybe Arcadians bleed. And if they bleed, then are we sure they weren't ever human at one point? But also, we're not really here, so the blood, look, we'll get into the technicalities of where we actually are, but our bodies are in the Information Bureau. We're here somehow, and how does this work? And I guess it's magic bangle, but whatever. Because honestly, yes, you would do feel pain when you get stabbed in the drama, but then it ends and you're back to normal. So, like, you do still feel pain. And if somebody slaps someone in the house, you're going to feel pain because whatever bangle that we have makes us feel like we're real people, even though we're only part of a person because we don't have a body, technically. So, like, I mean, this would still hurt, sure. But then it's like, I guess it would still bleed because you, the bangle is making you, your whatever you are, think that it's a real body when it's not actual. Oh, okay, whatever. Magic bangle. Anyway. That tiny blade wouldn't be able to sever his arm off. Gripped the bloody knife again, breathing heavily as he seemed to put more strength into it. Even though he had made that decision, it was the calm director's voice that put a stop to those cries. He refused the drama. Not just the drama. I reject everything you say. What I want doesn't exist here. I'll return to the original world with her, no matter what you say. It's already been arranged. You'll no longer trick me. I will not do as you say. I see. Before I realized it, his eerie form had appeared before us once more. I'm sorry, my voice sounds really weird today, and I realize as I'm trying to read this, and I'm like, what is wrong with my voice? Jesus. For a moment, he sounded almost disappointed before returning to his usual cheery tone. Chigasaki also stopped and stared at him. For some reason, there have been many points voted in by Arcadians right now. It's usually so little under normal circumstances. I wonder why. Perhaps seeing the Chimera here being hurt was that interesting. Yeah, they're like, yeah, take that arm off. You don't deserve it. You freak. Knowing Arcadians. But here's the thing about that. Another thing on the Arcadians might have been people because, hi, and maybe aliens are like this too, but humans are dicks. Humans are raging assholes, okay? Now I know that there's good people, but like overall, like in general, humans are dicks to other humans. Okay? It's been that way since time began. You can look back anywhere in history and be like humans being dicks to humans. So like the Arcadians being dicks to Chigasaki because he's only part, Arcadian is like, that is a very human response. So did we teach you that, or that's just ingrained in human nature to just be a douche? You know what I'm saying? That's a very human thing. So like, hey, you might not totally understand love or funny, but you understand being a dick. That's interesting. That's a bad thing. But like, you're like, damn. If you used to be humans, then human nature is just be a big douche. That's kind of fucked up. But that's the lesson I'm learning from this. If Arcadians used to be humans. But if you're trying to teach them to be more human-like, because they're just random aliens that are not human at all, it's funny that it's taken a long time for them to pick up on like humor and love and things like that. But being a douche, they totally have that down. I'm just saying. I mean, to be fair, kidnapping people, throwing them in the dramas is a very douche move. So I could just be natural for them, but all right, they got the douche move down anyway. Or do they enjoy how you were bidding farewell to this world? Probably because they don't want them here because they're douches. And they truly follow their instincts in that regard. I don't know their standards or reason for this. How interesting. They were like, yeah, cut that arm off. You don't deserve it, you fucking freak. Yeah, leave. We hate you. We don't want you here. Teach me happiness. Okay, so this is the end chapter. So I'm going to guess, unless this goes on super long, we're getting our ending right now. After the director vanished, my vision wavered. The Otherworld stream delivers what viewers want. If you have gained their support, and then you leave me no choice. The drama ends here. Rules must be followed after all. I gasped for air and looked around me. I couldn't see him, but his tone of voice was unexpectedly gentle. And this concludes the Otherworld stream. I'll grant one wish of yours since this is the end. If you wish to live in that world, then your wish is my command. I do have that responsibility after all. However, you'll receive a punishment game for refusing to act in the drama. Besides, you don't want that arm anymore, right? They're going to take it away. What, what are you? In the next instant, blinding light waves pushed us. I reached out, but I didn't know if I could touch Chigasaki. Felt like I was swimming in a dream. I tried to push away clouds surrounding me as I called out that name engulfed in light. Chigasaki. Now that I think about it, there wasn't anything connecting Chigasaki and me. If I let go, will we never see each other again? Oh, if I let go, we will never see each other again, sorry. The same fear might show up on my face again. But by clinging to my memories, I dispelled my fear. He said he'd fall in love with me no matter where we met. It'll be fine, even if there's nothing connecting us. Well, you're not going to forget everything. Well, not this time. I sit on a bench as I tap at the display to send my message. I hope I didn't write anything weird. 3 seconds after sending it, I read the text one more time. It wasn't pushy. It was cheerful. And it isn't guilt-tripping. If possible, I want to make it sound mature. Checking for typos. Okay, here's the only thing. This is like an Arcadia background, so it's like, are we back in the real world and this is supposed to be a normal park? I kind of do wish, if that's the case, they had made different backgrounds. I think there are, like, we know the one that, like, that's like the bridge background. I mean, I think they reused that one too. So it's like the scene, the background where we were with Tomose and that's where we first get kidnapped. They did use that, like, in Arcadia. They also used the school background, but I kind of do wish they had made separate backgrounds, or the backgrounds looked a little bit, even the ones they reused, maybe color tint was different or something was different about it, so that, like, you'd know, okay, this is the real world, this is Arcadia. Because, like, you know, maybe we never lived in the real world. Maybe we were always in Arcadia. That's why the backgrounds are always the same. Okay, you know what I mean? It's just like, I think you could have took that little added difference to only make, like, here's the Arcadia backgrounds, here's the regular ones. You know? Like a different park for in the real world. I don't know. But I guess all of Arcadia places are based on real places, so that can make sense why they look the same. Anyway, none. That was for our typos. After rereading it 2 more times, I'm happy with it and swipe at the screen. The screen in the air vanishes and I place my hand on my lap. A gentle breeze blows. It's the smell of greenery carried by the wind, sounds of a fountain, children playing far away. I look down and try to feel everything, and each time I think to myself, right here. I've seen this all before, but it feels so new. It feels like everything's been drawn over in a different color since then. Ever since I came back to this world. Say that, but it's like came back to the real world or you came back to Arcadia for some fucked up reason. When I returned from Arcadia, I woke up in a hospital bed at the Information Bureau. I mean, I'm making the assumption like we went back to the real world, but it doesn't mean there's not another weird twist in this ending, you know what I mean? The other cast members were also housed in hospitals of the Bureau in the same way. What happened to the Otherworld stream was kept secret. I cooperated with the follow-up investigations regarding it. Of course, my academics took priority, but I had to visit the Information Bureau in my free time. The reason why I didn't feel at all dissatisfied... Sina... It's because it's Chigasaki. Come on. I almost jump in surprise. Oh my god! Oh! Look at the way they did it! I don't know if he's got like a fake arm or it's just his jacket's there and it's like really, really skinny because he doesn't have his arm. Like he doesn't have an arm or he's got like a robot arm and it's like not the same thing. You know what I mean? Like they actually put that effort into the CG, like his little sprite. That's kind of cute. But like also, okay, we saw in the one drama they pushed his hair back and whatnot and put him in a suit. But like maybe it's just I'm thinking this is the exact same sprite, but it's the angle of this one. I like it better. I still like your little floppy hair, but this is adorable. I hold my breath to see who it is, and I let out a huge sigh. But, like, why are you wearing a suit? It's a three-piece suit, so I'm down, but you scared me. Why are you here, Chigasaki? I thought your meeting was running late. I was playing a little prank on you. It did run late, but it's a holiday today, so they decided to resume tomorrow. I came here without telling you that. Sorry. Well, that does make me happy. I did want to see you as soon as possible. Yes, too. Knowing that you think that about me made me want to see you, and that's why I played this little prank. No, he really just doesn't. They didn't even give him a fake arm. He just doesn't. That attention to detail in this version of his sprite, bravo. Good job, okay? Because, like, ugh. But I'm surprised because, yes, he's missing his arm, but, like, you could get prosthetic arms. Because, like, Ibama had one. You know what I mean? Unless Chigasaki opted to not. But, like, they obviously have them in this world, and they're way more advanced than the current ones we have in modern society. So, like, and we have prosthetics in modern society right now. So, like, in the future, they should also have them. You know what I mean? So, why did he opt not to? Because it had to have been an on. Like, he chose not to, so. He declares it all so eloquently and then sits down next to me. I hope he's left-handed, that's all I have to say. He always sits on my right side, and so we can hold hands at any time. Chigasaki's right arm is gone now. Chigasaki quit attending the college he was at when we returned. He lost Arcadia's economic support, so that was to be expected. I was surprised to hear the way he was employed that he was employed by the Bureau. Hey, nice. Because Chigasaki was a sponsor, he provided all of his information and was placed in charge of the cleanup of the Otherworld stream incident. Alright, good for him. I don't think that happened to Futami. Didn't we stay? What happened in Futami's Road? Did we stay in Arcadia? I know he was living in the, like, the dumpy place, but, like, I don't actually remember how that ended. The other cast members and I were surprised to hear that it was Chigasaki who volunteered to do so. Moreover, everyone was terribly surprised when Chigasaki revealed to them that he was the sponsor. Yeah, except for, like, Futami's like, oh, what? You are? Yeah, everyone was surprised. Well, not everyone, because I'm pretty sure the producer knew, obviously. And I'm gonna take a guess that I feel like Futami knew. Kinda got the feeling that Futami knew. You know? But did Chigasaki know that Futami's also a sponsor? Because I feel like he should have told everyone that. And also, now that you're back and the Otherworld stream's over, why wouldn't you tell the Information Bureau who the other producers, sponsors, everybody that's involved was, if you knew? You know? I mean, they're not going to tell you. They're not going to tell you that because then it would ruin those routes. But I'm surprised they didn't say, like, oh, he was cooperating with them and told them who the producer was. They wouldn't say other sponsors because if you got Chigasaki before Futami, you wouldn't know there was another one, you know? But what's done is done, and they knew Chigasaki's circumstances, so no one blamed him for it. Everyone's like, we know your circumstances, but I don't quite math those. How did that? You know what? Don't tell me. Chigasaki's most conscious about it. He probably wanted to be punished. It seemed quiet today, and normally you'd have so many things to say to me. Did something happen? Huh? No, not at all. I just thought, you look good in that suit. He does, though. Seriously, put glasses or a suit on him, I'm good. Oh, really? I still haven't gotten used to it. It does make me stand up straight. I don't entirely feel like a Bureau member just yet. I feel like I first have to fix all the mistakes I've made in the past. His little wistful, sad looking off is adorable. That's not your fault, Chigasaki. But it's fine the way it is. Even to this day, I feel like I could have found another way. I caused so much misfortune to so many people through the Otherworld stream. I shouldn't be the only one who's happy. Besides, like I've forgotten something. Forgotten? What would it be? I don't know, but it's something. I feel like there was something I must atone for. Someone I should share my happiness with. There you go again. Do I have to threaten you again? This time, I won't leave your side until you say you're happy. You can assume that I'm just bragging about how happy I am right now. This is interesting because it's like someone I must atone for. Did they make him forget his mom? Like, he couldn't have forgotten the street, but, like, And they explained his circumstances, so I feel like he knows that unless they took the memories when they return people, like, nope, we're deleting the memories of who the producer is. You know what I mean? But it's weird because it's like someone I should share my happiness with, but your mom's gone, your dad doesn't, like, you know what I mean? Weird? I don't know. Simply being with you brings me happiness, and I have no intention of letting you go. And without you, I can't do anything. It's thanks to you that I want to live. Without you, I wouldn't know how to live. I'm the I'm the one who won't ever let go. Our hands touch, and I can feel Chigasaki's temperature. It's slightly lower than mine. So, after returning to this world, everything that I observed here feels like a completely different world. I love it when he blushes. He's adorable. Everything's so new again. It's reborn. No, perhaps it only seems that way because I was reborn myself. Everything I see is so vivid and full of life. It makes me feel that I'm moving toward the future, although there's so much to see in the future. That cold and stagnant world, and that world that kept me trapped no longer exists. Starting to think that it's okay for me to live like this. By your side, that is. Look at his little happy face. Look at his little happy face. Cute. Aww. This is cute. Our lips almost touch and my heart pounds. And I nod. It's funny because honestly, in this one, Chigasaki doesn't look like Chigasaki. It's because the hair's pushed back. But it's so cute. I was just thinking something similar. Ever since coming back here, everything has felt like it's part of another world. That's why maybe I was also reborn. And it's thanks to you, Chigasaki. Like, it's so adorable. CG, in case you didn't get that. I didn't specifically say CG. Sometimes I just CG time, or I'm like, oh, this is a cute scene. But this one, I was like, oh, this one's cute. You could have thought I meant I was talking about Sprite. Listen, I'm not fully on today. Or lately. I'm sorry. Like, existing is struggling right now. That sounds worse than it is. It's literally just because my vitamin D is so low and I haven't gotten my prescription yet. Because obviously, I record in bulk. Like, I'm just like, I am like slowly dying here. Like, I am tired. I'm not braining. I can't use words. Like, life is a slog at the moment. Like, Jesus. So I'm sorry. It's gonna be like this. It's gonna be painful for a while. I giggle a bit, and Chigasaki does too. In that case, I have to change even more. Unless I can be someone fitting for you. I look dumb standing next to you. Don't say that. Oh, I get mad when I say things like this. I like you when you're modest, but it's not good to be self-deprecating. Right. You are my girlfriend. I have to be someone you can be proud of. Right. I'll always be proud of you. You need to look so cute whether you're acting angrily or being bashful. I got mad at you when you're happy somehow. The emotions that you direct toward me are all precious to me. It's always for my sake. Chigasaki's the kind of person to compliment others without reservation. When he gets like this, I can't do anything but take it. It makes me happy, but I don't know how to respond. You're not pushing yourself too hard, are you? Chigasaki, you're always smiling in front of me, but there should be times when you feel pain. It's not bad to complain to me. For example, stuff that you hate, or anything. You can tell me about those things. Yes, of course, but there isn't a single thing I hate about you. But you called me a terrible person before. Maybe that's how you feel sometimes. Sure hold a grudge, don't you? I do. Well, I don't think it's terrible. You're so cruel that you could trap me with a single phrase. Yet that felt so bright in my eyes. And also saying that, he's like, you're a terrible person for making me question the horrible things I'm doing. Yeah, I mean, well, we weren't really terrible, but for a terrible person, that feels terrible. You know what I mean? Clung to my heart and wouldn't let go. Made me think it was okay to discard everything else. Don't you have any regrets about your mother and father? If you could find Arcadia's real location, then maybe you can meet your father one more time. Difficult. It's fine to forget about it now. That goes for both of us. Chigasaki gently whispers as if to lecture me. No regrets about that. And though I may have thrown away my existence as someone from Arcadia, I still have a terrible sense of taste. And I can tell people apart just by their footsteps. I realize just how different I am, but all of that's only a memory and part of me, the part you helped me live with. Chigasaki quietly moves his hand to touch my shoulder, my neck, and then my cheek. This this reminds me of that drama. Yeah, but we'll never be in another drama again. I longed for you then, and those emotions I felt when I touched your cheek were real. But right now, I love you even more. It feels so embarrassing when you say that straight to my face. You seemed fine with it during the drama. Well, that was a drama, and it was only then. It was, and I'm glad that was the only time I wasn't able to see it. Now I can kiss you without having to find you with my hands. Oh, and now we get another kissy CG. Same CG, just kiss angle. Thank you for giving me so much happiness that I'm actually afraid to lose it. Thank you for changing me from the person who I was afraid of being. Thank you for changing me, the person who was afraid of being touched. From now on, please give me your warmth. We exchanged our warmth and kiss. Chigasaki always says the words I want to hear. His gentle happiness fills up whatever I'm missing. It makes me forget what shape it may have been. The end. Damn. Okay. So I don't know if it's just me because I feel like I rambled a lot. Are the parts getting like the parts? The routes are getting shorter. Like Ibana and Chigasaki's, I feel like is this like the 8th part? Like 8 hours? I mean, one part did go over and like whatever, but still one part was like 20 minutes over, but like even if we purposely say we hadn't done that, this would just been a slightly longer part, which is usually the end. But like I feel like most of them were averaging like 10. And I know in Ibana's route, I probably didn't theorize as much because Ibana's was almost like a standalone. Like Tomose doesn't really have a lot of tie-ins with other people. And by that I mean like where you theorize and go, okay, wait, if like with this one you're like, okay, wait, he's a sponsor, so Fatami knows, blah blah blah, and you're trying to figure out like how that intertwines. Tomose was kind of like a standalone, like, yeah, other people were there, but like Tomose is Tomose. She doesn't even go here, okay? Like, compared to how everybody else kind of intertwines. In Iochi and Akase, you're kind of like doing the whole, okay, wait, is Akase Iochi's partner? And then blah, blah, blah. And then you're trying to figure out who Iochi's partner might be. Utami is like the sponsor, and you're like, okay, whatever. Ibana's was kind of like that, where you're like, okay, he was here before, and Daza, you get a little bit of speculation, but there's not as much. I feel like there was a lot more in this route where you're like, okay, wait, so hold on, and you're trying to like see the bigger picture and how everybody intertwines and like the roles everybody plays, right? There's a lot more that you can theorize or speculate about in this. So, but it's weird that it was so short. With all the, I spent 40 minutes out of an hour speculating and only, so like this would have gone by way faster. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's okay, but like I could have used, to be fair, the extra 2-hour buffer for Ibana and for Chigasaki. Could have used those extra 4 parts. Because that would have been almost a week. Like, I think we're far enough ahead in this because this is probably February right now and I'm still in January. But I gotta start recording our game that we're probably right now going up in tandem. I haven't started that one yet. So I was like, you know what? I took a couple days off because my mom was here and I had doctor's appointments. So I was like, I can get and do Chigasaki's route. Ibana's route is never going to leave me. I love him so much. That was options. That's not what I wanted. Where are we going? Where's Chigasaki over here? Okay. Where the fuck is Chigasaki? Nope, that is not what I wanted to do. God damn it. I always hit the wrong... Why do I always hit the X button to hide the text instead of Y? Like, I don't know. But, oh, okay, yeah. Alright, so this is what I was thinking when... I know I just totally lost that train of thought, but whatever. I have no idea what I was talking about. Seriously, this is how bad I'm doing right now. I'm like, what? Anyway. I still haven't started our other game that we're playing in tandem, and that's going to be long, because you have to record the common route, so it's going to take forever. So, anyway, that's why I got a little more ahead on this one. But... like, this is what I was thinking, like, did we see them? Okay, to be fair, when we saw Chigasaki's arm, it looked more cool and, oh, it looks like outer space. They still don't look creepy and weird. They're gooey, blob monsters, but like, I just couldn't remember what they looked like from that, but I don't think there's, no, okay. Where we're holding his arm and on the bench are the only ones where we have 2 CGs. Okay. I think this one's kind of cute. I like it. I don't know, I like Chigasaki's route. I'm not mad that he was a sponsor. I think that was very unexpected, and I like that. So, didn't see that coming at all. I was like, okay. I feel like I am slightly disappointed about it because it's like, okay, but like, if we know who the sponsors are, and then like, what are the other 3 hiding? Again, I fully expect that they're going to be just as much like this, where you're like, holy fucking shit, your mom fucked an Arcadian, and now you were, wait, what? What? You know what I mean? Like, what the shit? So, like, I mean, it's not to say somebody else couldn't be an Arcadian. Hi, G. Cough. Oh, was I supposed to cough around that? Because, to be fair, that's what I said, because that's why he's, like, not quite human and very innocent and, like, acts like a child. It's not because he is a child. Again, he's either fucking an adult pretending to be a kid to bamboozle us. Brilliant. Or he's an Arcadian, and that's why he's got, like, a childlike intelligence. That sounds almost insulting, but you know what I mean. It's like he's where an elementary school kid could be, or even a little bit behind, because he's an Arcadian, so they don't quite have all the normal humans' emotions, intelligence. They're not the same. You know what I mean? They're trying to learn about being human, but they don't have all the same things. It'd be like, when you go into a foreign country and you're learning a foreign language, doesn't matter how old you are, when you first start learning, you're going to be speaking almost like a child, because maybe you have simpler words, you don't know everything, you know what I mean? So, like, to those people, it's like, oh, look at you, you're talking like a 12-year-old, that's kind of cute, you know what I mean? Because you're learning. So it's the same thing with Arcadians. They're either learning how to be human, again, or learning how to be human, period, because they're aliens, whatever they are. So that would explain why Haiji is in that, like, oh, he doesn't seem to know as much as a 12-year-old, and he talks and he doesn't understand concepts, because he's a fucking alien, okay? And I wouldn't put it past them to do 2 people, because they've kind of led you into it, like, see? And then, whatever, And then that would also give you a reason to explain, if Haiji is also an Arcadian or whatever, to explain, like, oh yeah, well, blah, blah, blah. To kind of explain Chigasaki without specifically explaining Chigasaki. Like, how did Chigasaki actually exist? Because I feel like there's a science, or there's something behind this, and are we never going to know? I just got to leave it up to my imagination, because that's terrifying. Okay. So, like, you could explain that without being like, oh yeah, so in Chigasaki's case, just in case you did Haiji's route first, you could explain away, oh yeah, so like, when a human and an Arcadian fall in love, the digital data combines and creates the, you know what I mean? And you could kind of explain it away so that you get to Chigasaki and you're like, oh, okay, I know how this works. You know what I mean? Yeah, because see, like it looks pretty. You know what I mean? It is funny because it goes from like, actually, it's so funny because his hand looks, it's the angle that it's on, because it's like the perspective, but his hand looks ginormous. His fingers look so thick, and like, he got like thick man hands. You think Chigasaki would have like delicate piano fingers, you know what I mean? And these are like sausage fingers. It's the perspective, because that's closer to you than he is, but it just looks so fucking weird. And then like, so when you do this, it makes his hand look even thicker, even though it's the same. And I do but even here it still looks like ginormous, but I did like that they did this with the Kiss CG, like this one, it's like, no, see, he's got his real hand and not like his imaginary one that you see. Nice little touch. I like it. Chigasaki carving his arm off. I am curious why they didn't explain, like, him choosing not to get a prosthetic arm. I mean, I feel like modern day it'd be very difficult if you were completely missing your full arm to get one put on the shoulder. But, like, this is the future where they could have been like, well, they probably could have written in like, yeah, science, they could totally do that. You know what I mean? So, like, I feel like modern medicine and prosthetics and all that stuff does not apply here. So I'm surprised they didn't explain, like, oh, Chigasaki's arm is gone. He chose not to get a prosthetic because, for whatever reason. And they could have just done that. Like, it was his choice. He decided, no, you know what? I'm not going to live, because that just associated that almost with the Arcadian arm. Like, a fake arm is parallel to an Arcadian arm in his mind or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, they could have explained it, or like, unfortunately, he couldn't get a prosthetic because science wasn't advanced enough to like do that. Whatever. I feel like they could have just said that instead of he lost his arm. Yeah, but we know that you have prosthetic arms, because even Abana said they have ones that look real, and he got a janky one when they went to Arcadia, and he can still move around and chop vegetables using this arm. And maybe that's just because it's in Arcadia. Okay, so maybe that's Arcadia logic. He can use it as if it were real type of a thing, but you know what I mean? But I mean, I feel like so they could have done something with that. Explained it to us a little bit. You know what I mean? I feel like that would have been nicer. Oh, and then this is another one. Oh, the teddy bear. That's so cute. Here we go. This is our NCG. We can't end on a bottom. Oh, I like the little teddy bear one, but at the same time, this one's kind of sweet and pretty. God damn it, I always hit the wrong button. Guys, I cannot fucking, I'm so stupid. I want to hit the Y button. I always hit X. I don't know why. But anyway, we'll use this one because it's our cute little kissy CG, and it's got his little Arcadia arm. We know we got rid of it at the end, but it was still part of him for a majority of the game. Like 95% of the game. So anyway, that's Chigasaki's route. I'm going to make the call that we're probably doing Dazai next because, okay, like, listen. Out of all three, Dazai, Haiji, and Gyobu, Dazai's the least sus to me, which might actually make him the most sus. But we were down to, when we were about to start this one, is it Dazai or Chigasaki? We knew it was going to be one of those. And if it's, I don't know why my brain is like, no. Again, Gyobu and Haiji have always been the most sus to me, so I was never not sure that they were, like, in the locked. Okay. The way they've kind of set this up, making you really sus of Dazai, like, Dazai's the one that took the disc out of the library and whatnot, because of the conversation they were having, and then also, he's the only one that would benefit from deleting that page that we found that had him and Ibana on it. And I don't know if deleting a page, you need to have the same security level as removing a disc, okay? Don't know. All right. But that makes you really sus, and like Dazai somehow involved. And again, I don't remember if they ever said like only the producer can do it. I thought it made it seem like any producer sponsors can do it, anybody's involved or whatever. So it's weird that Chigasaki as a sponsor and as an Arcadian couldn't remove it. You know? So then, like, the director, the only one that could remove it? Is it, like, just the director and producer? Only the producer? I don't remember what the stipulations around that were. So, if it's only the producer or director, then that's not what I was expecting from Dazai. But then it's like, so if Dazai's the producer... Did not see that coming. Okay, now I'm still, like, I'm saying this and I'm like, yeah, I still don't get that vibe, but, like... That'd actually be brilliant. Because he's so quiet and like, alright. Seemed very unsuspicious. Despite the fact that sometimes he does sus things and you're like, wait, you're leaving. Why are you leaving? What are you doing that? But there's never been like, you're evil! It's always been like, are you Iochi's partner? Because I was leaning more toward Akase, and then it was Akase, obviously. And then it's like, I never would have pegged you. I was like, Haiji's sus as fuck because he's lying about who he is. He's not 12. There's no fucking way. Maybe that's just my desperation for us to not be creepy weirdos. And it's a 16-year-old girl dating a 12. That's gross. I can't. I don't even want to. I want to go scrub my skin off right now, just even thinking about it. So, like, maybe that's just me clinging on to the desperate hope of, like, please just have him be lying about his age because I don't want to do this. I don't want to end up on that government watch list because that's disturbing and gross. And, like, don't make me do it, game. Don't. Like, you know? Unless he's an Arcadian. Then Dazai could be the producer. Then what the fuck is Gyobu? I don't think Gyobu's the producer. Although he's really sus as fuck. But if I was going to have him tied into it, I wouldn't have said he's the producer. If it goes down that way, I'd be like, I mean, alright. I take it because he's really fucking weird and suspicious all the time. He's been sus from day one. So is Haiji. But it's kind of like, now it's all up in the air. And if Dazai's involved... Because, I mean, they never said that the producer couldn't have been somebody that was in the stream previously. So Dazai could have been here and then come back as the producer, and that's why, because they never, okay, see, so like, Ibana lost his arm. He's got a fake arm. We saw the glove from the very beginning. What's going on with your fucking arm? And then you see Tomoza. You know what I mean? He's had that glove on his hand from the very fucking beginning, so it's always been a little sus around it. Like, why are you wearing a glove? That's sus. You know what I mean? That's been a red flag there for the whole time. Kind of like indicating that something's going on. We have never made a comment about Dazai not looking us in the eyes. Like, Dazai looks at me, but you know what I mean? But, like, one eye's just not doing it because it doesn't work. I mean, I'm guessing you still have the muscle, so if you look over, I just can't see out of one eye, but it's still moving around. But you know what I mean? So, but we've never picked up or noticed that he's blind in one eye. So... But I mean, I guess they just did what they did with Chigasaki. Okay, instead of taking like Ibana, they took his arm. He had no arm. It's not just they took the youth, they took his arm. Everybody else, they just take away a function. That's actually kind of weird because like Chigasaki, they took his leg, but they took the function of his leg. His leg is still there. But I'm assuming that in that curiosity shop or the whatever, there is now a case that has Chigasaki's leg. But, like, when Ibana came back, he had an arm, he just couldn't use it. So, like, in the real world, his arm would have been, like, in a sling or just hanging there limply, whatever. Okay, that's his choice. So when he came back here, instead of, because he couldn't use his arm, he made them give him a prosthetic. He asked for one. So, like, but then he could use that as if... I don't really know. Did they take his arm or just the use of it? Because everyone else, they take the use of these things. Like, I couldn't speak. I don't know if my vocal cords were there or not. Okay. Chigasaki, they didn't take his eyes. They just turned off the function of his eyes. So that's a weird little question mark there. It made it seem more like with Ibana, they completely took his arm. So he asked for a prosthetic so people wouldn't notice that his arm was missing. Because being like, can you give me a prosthetic so people don't notice that I've lost function in my arm? You gave him a prosthetic, therefore it's almost like giving him function back. You know what I mean? So that seems weird. Whatever, logic, I don't know, I shouldn't be analyzing that, but whatever. But we've never even noticed or anything or made some kind of thing where it like, Dazai's depth perception is totally bonkers. Because like, walk around with one eye closed. It's kind of difficult. You know what I mean? You don't have the depth perception. So like, we should have noticed something was off. But we didn't. So like, maybe it was like, I'll come back as a producer and you give me my eye back, right? Cool. You know? It's just because they lost that function in that, when we saw on that page, doesn't mean they didn't get it back. So like, we're in there saying we lost our voice. Doesn't say we got it back or not. You know what I mean? Anyway, not the point. So, I'm going on the assumption we're probably... I would guess Dazai because he's the least sus out of the last 3 sus fucks left. Okay? And that probably makes him the most suspicious. So I really don't even know where I stand on this anymore. But doesn't matter. For you, it'll be not tomorrow, but the day after. For me, it's going to be weeks. If there's a gap, I won't let you down. I won't give you a gap. But if there is, it's going to be between these two. But... I'm going to do the best I can, and I'll record in tandem if I have to. But anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up, and subscribe to see more.